Thank you. So I'm going to talk about a report that we made together with the Rocky Mountain Institute. But let me just take a few steps back. Because who is Signify? Most of you have probably never heard about Signify, and that's because it's the new name of Philips Lighting. So we are the world leader in lighting, and we produce high-quality, energy-efficient lighting products, systems, and services. We're the global leader in conventional LED connected lighting systems and services. In 2017, we generated 7 billion euros of revenues, and we employ 30,000 people in 70 countries. We have a passion for sustainability, and both in 2017 and 2018, we won our category in the Dow Jones Sustainability Index. So what do Signify offer? We serve both the professional and the consumer market, and the professional market accounts for 75% of our sales. We have lighting products such as lamps and luminaires, systems such as our Interact software suite, and we have services that include design, consultancy, maintenance, management, and lifecycle services. We have lamps and luminaires for the consumer segment, and we also have smart home lighting for consumers known as Philips Hue, which I hope some of you know at least. So today I'm going to talk about the report that we made with the Rocky Mountain Institute about how buildings can pave the way for the global EV revolution. So the projected CO2 emission reductions from commitments and initiatives around the world today is only roughly half of what is needed to keep global warming below 2 degrees. So two big areas that require a lot of attention are buildings and transport. And the elegant relationship between the two is that by increasing building renovation rates, we can free up energy that is needed to accelerate the adoption of electrification of transport. So if we take a look at buildings, global building electricity demand will grow 69% by 2040. So that means that in 2040 we would need 12% absolute reduction in building electricity versus the business as usual case which is going on right now. So that 12% is needed for the building sector to meet its contribution towards the 2 degrees global warming target. That's a total electricity reduction of nearly 2,300 terawatt hours, and that's equivalent of taking 684 million households off the grid. So you can say the current energy efficiency trends in the building sector are not sufficient to meet this goal, and currently only 1% of the building stock globally is renovated. So if we take a look at the electrical vehicles or the outlook for those. So the electrical vehicle revolution is undoubtedly good for the environment, and as electricity sourcing moves towards renewables. But the resulting electricity demand growth can and should be managed by policymakers because the vast majority of EVs are charged at home or at work, and that growth in electricity vehicle adoption represents incremental growth to the building electricity use. So if we look at two scenarios, the base case scenario, we would have 55% of vehicles being sold in 2040 being electric. That would mean 33% of electrical vehicles on the street would be electric. In the aggressive case, we would look at 90% of sales in 2040 being EVs. That would mean 43% of cars on the street at that point in time would be electric. So if we look at the aggressive case, that would require an additional 3,000 terawatt hours of electricity, which is more than the whole of Europe consumes per year today. Quite a lot. Energy efficiency in buildings represent the most cost-effective opportunity to support the EV revolution, given that it offers the lowest cost option for meeting future energy needs compared to constructing new generation infrastructure. So not only does it represent lowest cost energy supply resource, but it also offers meaningful non-energy benefits such as higher productivity for businesses, improved indoor air quality, reduced employee sick days, and increased resilience and energy security. Bless you. Humor, right? We learned that yesterday. So if we, by increasing the global current energy efficiency retrofit in buildings from the business as usual case at 1% to just over 5%, using cost-effective market-ready technologies that can achieve at least 30% energy savings. We can accommodate the baseline adoption of 550 million electrical vehicles on the road through 2040. And that's without increasing generation capacity dramatically, and also successfully meeting the 2 degrees target set by the Paris Agreement. So a great linkage between buildings and EVs is that most, if not all, efficient technologies like LED lighting are digital, which means that our buildings can become smart buildings connected to the Internet of Things following these renovations. This will also enable smart charging and load management that can further reduce the power demand on the grid. So all in all, those renovations would make our buildings fit for the 21st century. So our recommendations is that policymakers should develop integrated policy frameworks, particularly on buildings and transport, and combining these with renewable energy policies, making the energy we consume clean and sustainable. When building owners see ownership or tenancy change, that is the time for deep building renovation, either for our homes, commercial or public buildings. And the additional budget required can easily be included in the mortgage or the real estate portfolio, as these buildings will become cheaper to use and are safer investments for individuals and investors. It's also critical that we get the charging infrastructure right. So charging can be done where we live or where we work. And that demand response management balances the load on the electricity grid. It's not the first time that we actually see a massive change within a short period of time. The transition to LED lighting is possibly one of the fastest in the past decade. Only a little over 10 years ago, 70% of our sales, or 2/3 of our sales, were in incandescent light bulbs. Today, 70% is LED. And all the LED that we sell in 2020 will be connected or connectable. So for the planet, our long-term goal should be to move towards a zero-carbon world by 2050. And this is why we, as Signify, has announced that our building will become net zero carbon and our fleet 100% electric or hybrid by 2030. So you can't say that Signify is taking our own medicine, or come to think of it, maybe it's actually vitamins. Thank you.